this week, guys, I'm actually going to do 2 flies. I use it as a dry dropper style pattern. That's the reason I figured I'd tie them both up together. The first is just my little foam insect. Uses 2 colors foam, and a yellow and a black, with just a few little legs and some hackle. Pretty simple little bug. I like it because it just floats good and high. Next is just a little beadhead nymph, prince nymph that I do. See this tiny little guy right here? Uses a tungsten bead. It's got the white wings, light brown tail. It kind of covers the nice deep end. So hopefully this will work for you guys. I like how it looks. I like how it floats. I like how they work together. So this will be a little bit longer demonstration. It's got, like I said, both flies getting tied in it. So we're going to get this one started. But before I do, I want to hope everybody's staying quarantined in, staying in when they need to, only going out when you and practicing social distancing. Right now, I'm about as distant as you can from my family. I got my wife in Charlotte with my daughter, which sucks. I got one son staying down at my mom's house away from me while I'm working the hospital, so I can't be around too many people. And, trying to keep my distance and only going out when I absolutely have to. So, guys, let's try to do that and get this taken care of so we can all get back to normal and get back to fishing more and not worrying about this. Just an extra little shout out because I saw this the other night and made me proud. For anybody who is working on the front line, contact Trout Unlimited. They're giving away a free 1-year membership right now to anybody who works on the front line. I already had my membership, so I didn't use mine. But for anybody else, it's a great organization, and they're wanting to help us out while we need it the most. So I want to give a shout out to them. So guys, I hope you enjoy, and just give me some feedback. Thanks. So I'm going to start with today. The first part of my 2-part fly system is going to be a foam insecty bug looking thing. Uses 2 pieces of foam, little dubbing, and some hackle. I'm going to be using right now these Mustad dryfly hooks. This is a size 12. See the number on there that I'm using. I like how they fill out. They're light enough that it doesn't take much to keep them afloat. And which then helps within that, the second part of that, having the weighted nymph on there, it helps keep it from wanting to sink it because the extra foam and then the lightweightness of this. So let's start. It's just using a little bit of, in this case I'm using a 1X Uni Stretch Black. It's the 270. Gives me a little extra oomph with this. Spread it out. Let's get that started. Get my scissors here. There we go. I'm just going to wrap that right up to the bend of the hook and just stop right there. Next thing I'll do is I just get a little black dryfly hackle piece. And then I'm just going to take, before I put it on there, I just kind of like to spread some of it out a little bit. Makes it a little bit easier for me to work with it that way. I'm just going to kind of tie it in. Don't have to tie it in all the way, just a few loops to help hold it in place. Next, I'm going to use some hairline dubbing, super fine dry fly dubbing in black. Pull a little bit of this off here. And then I always put a little bit of dubbing wax on the needle. It just kind of helps hold everything in place, or on the thread, I should say. Just helps kind of hold everything in place for me. And then just working in one direction, just going to wrap that all on there. Let's get that work down real good. And in place. And then I'm just going to wrap the thread around that until I get to the dubbing. Just right around the base there. Once the dubbing starts going on, I hold on to the dubbing itself and start wrapping it up the shank of the hook. Right up until I get about 3/4 of the way back up, and then any that I have left back there, I just kind of wrap back along the length of it and then back up to the front, and then I tie off there a little bit. Next, I'm going to wrap my hackle in, going the opposite direction of the way I've wrapped my thread. So it kind of counterweights back in there. You don't have to have this right on top of each other. You can kind of spread it out a little bit. Kind of keep it wrapping up through there. Watching yourself, because it does hang up together, which kind of make it want to twist a little bit. And you kind of just work it through with your fingers. Brush it through and it helps knock it back. Get up to where you stopped with your dubbing. Just a couple loops to tie that in. And just reach in there, snip off, like to your side. Always make a couple more wraps after I do that, just to kind of help lock it down. Now next, I use this little foam body cutter that I got ordered from Fly Shack from River Road Creations out of Montana. It's a little beaver style. I'm using the small today. It comes in 3 different sizes, which is nice. And I just cut 2 different variations, which I've cut a bunch of them up already because I've tied a bunch of these over the past week or so. I've cut it in a black and a yellow in this case. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them right on top of each other. Because this is such a short, it's a 12, it's a 12 hook. You're looking at it's going to cover quite a bit. So what I do is I just kind of come in here and I just trim it off to a point to shorten it up a little bit. And then I'm just going to take both of them, holding it in place. Let's go ahead and wrap it in a little bit. A couple of loops and then pull it down a little bit. And I'm just going to work that foam down all the way back up and down, completely covering it here. Good couple of pulls down to get it down tight. What that'll do is that's going to allow that foam to start standing up a little bit there with the yellow. The black's going to stay down. Your yellow's going to kind of pop up to be an upper wing. Gives you an upper lower wing. Now the next thing I do, I get a little loon, hard haired, get it in the clear. Off here a little bit because I don't need a lot. That's going to dab a little bit right there in the middle of all that and let it soak in. Kind of hold everything in place. It dries quick enough. Next is I'm going to add the legs to it, which I'm using some silly legs from Montana Fly Company, the centipede legs. and this is in the speckled tan, medium size. I'm just going to take one strand and cut it off. And then I'm going to take that one strand, fold it in half, like so. And then just cut that in half, like so, like that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to lay these into the side here, on each side, just one half of it. I'm going to tie it in there, a couple loops over, and just kind of pull that side up into place where you want it. Then I'm going to come back onto the other side. I'm going to do the same thing, kind of getting them a little even. One up, and two, and then reposition them things. So you got about an equal distance out for each side, and then just kind of give them a good tug down. Make sure everything stays in place there for you. I have to kind of pull them back up onto the side a little bit. Kind of want to go down and underneath there on you a little bit there. Then I'm going to get just a little bit more of my dubbing, not a lot, just a little pinch. And spin it on there in this case. I'm just going to wrap that around the legs. And come to the front. Make my loops. Then from there, I'm just going to kind of situate the legs a little bit down the way I want them. And get your whip finisher. I'm just going to tie off here now. A few quick finishes here. 1, 2. Kind of push everything back a little bit. One, two, three. Down it goes. Just snip off. And there you have it. And now what you can do is, because you have kind of fiddled with those legs, those front legs, just kind of pull them back down to where you want them. Twist them around. I mean, I don't always have them sitting in there perfectly. Sorry about that, guys. Phone decided to take a little bit of tumble on me there. There we go. I don't always have the legs setting perfectly. I usually try to get them at least both pointed down. Make sure everything's kind of lining up where you want it. And now that hardest heads in there will settle in, and it'll just kind of give you a good floating base here. Okay, next part is just a little floating, or a little tungsten bead jig that I put underneath this to make it the dry dropper, hopper dropper, whatever you want to call it, 2-fly system. I'm going to be using a size 12 60-degree barbless hook from Saber Flies, which you can get at flyshack.com. I really like these hooks. They're good and sharp. Not bad price. Like $7-8 for a pack of 100. And I like them as good as I do any of my more expensive name brand hooks, as you like to call them. Actually, most of my flies are usually tied on these. The last fly didn't have the hook size I needed right now. Waiting on those to come in. So this is a barbless jig hook. Get you a good look at it here. Grab it with my pliers here, get you a better look. With the 60-degree bend. I really like how it holds the hook in there, holds the angle here. And like I said, all I'm going to use is some of the Fly Shack's slotted tungsten beads. This one's a black nickel. Matches up with this hook size really well. So, with these jig hooks, you need the slotted bead to be able to get it on there. But the slotted beads also help out a lot when you're going around a barbed hook too, or just an odd bend on the back. So I'm just gonna slide this on there if I can keep from dropping them everywhere. Get another one here. I'll find that one in a minute. There we go. Slide that right up to the end. I'm going to slide this hook in. Now for this one, I'm going to use a little olive color Ultra Thread 210. There you go. That's all. Just going to put a few loops in here right behind the bead. Get it started. Snip that off. Now it's going to wrap to the very well, if I can tie in properly. Let's do that again. To there. Snip off. Oh. Let's wrap to the very back here. Right there, right where the hook starts to make the bend. Next, it's going to grab me a couple of, got a duck feather here. I've tried to clean my desk and now I can't find anything. In a light brown, I'm just going to snip a little bit of it off here. You can see it here. Come right in through here like so. Snip that off. Lay that down to your side. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in right here to the side of this. Shorten it up here a little bit. Just going to make a couple of loops here like so. Tie that side in. Now we'll go back to the hook, or back to the feather. Pull about the same amount there. Snip it off. Now I go to the other side, making you a little X pattern there with it. Just tie it in like so. They cross over each other. Don't pull it down tight yet, because what you're able to do by leaving it just a little loose, you'll be able to pull it all to where you need it. Pulled it a little too far. Got it behind the Take it loose here. Start over. Just do it again. Same thing. That's the thing, guys. If I make a mistake, I'm not going to not show me fixing the mistake or where I made the mistake, because it happens. Just bring this back up here to the bend. Tie all that down all the way back up. So what will happen is when you take this out of there, the tail will lay down a little bit more. Right now it's being held up by the vise itself, which is okay with me. Kind of keeps him up there a little bit out of the way. Next, pull that down a little bit. Give me a little bit of length there. Actually, before I do that, I want to grab my peacock feather here. Nice pretty colors on that, isn't there? See. And I'm just going to go down through here. And I'm going to pick me out about 4 of the nice little long little barbels off of it here. Just snip them off. Take the very ends of them there. Just kind of snip them off all even. Smooth that out a little bit. Give them a little twist here myself. And then I'm just going to tie them in here. Quick wraps. Now, we'll do something that I haven't quite got the hang of, but a little better every time. We'll make me a dubbing loop here real quick, which I've just got this little hook, bring it up, a few quick wraps, and work my way back up to the front, leaving that there. I'm just going to go in there. I'll get my dubbing wax here. Have it ready. I'll reach in. Just open that up. Kind of making sure it's good and open for me. I'm just going to go on one side of this. I'll put a little bit of wax there. And I'm going to take these peacock curls I had. I'm going to bring them down inside of it. And I'm going to put them off to one side here. And then just pull that down good and tight on it. And then I'm just going to start twisting. And what that'll do is that will start catching all of those. Start twisting up there and make me a little peacock chenille all the way up it. Once I got that twisted all the way, I'm just going to start wrapping it in. Once again, opposite way that I wrapped my thread. Bring that all the way up through there until I get to about that point on there. I'll bring my thread back and meet it up. One last loop around, and then just tie it off a little bit. 2 quick twists there. Pull that up out of the way. Now, just to make sure, let's do one more twist around, one more flip around with the thread. Pull that back this way a little bit and do one this way. Always afraid of losing those when I put them in there. Snip that off. Get that out of the way now. Now next, get my thread back to where I made all that up at. Which I know that's not a very long looking body, but that's okay. And I'm going to come back with a little bit darker color set of duck feather. In this case, I'm going to use a purple. I'm going to cut a big chunk of this here. I'll show you. Get it all kind of standing up there for me. See, I got quite a bit of it there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim them all off even. I'm going to just lay them in here like so. Hold it down there. Just a few quick wraps to hold it in place. Okay, now I'm going to grab me a little bit of this little dubbing right here. In this case it's a green, and this has a little bit of sparkle in it. Hold it up there so you can get a good look. So you can see, you can kind of tell that the sparkle's in it there, getting hit just right. Pull just a little bit of that chunk of that out of there. Pull that down. Back to your dubbing wax, because I'm going to show you it comes in handy for holding this stuff. Kind of spread out just a little bit there on my dubbing. Kind of open it up and twist it on there. Get that twisted down real good. Make a few wraps here. Start getting that dubbing in there. And I'll make a pretty good ball of it right through there. Hold it just so it spreads. And then next, we'll grab all those feathers that I just put in there. Push them down. Make a couple of quick wraps over top of that to make me a wing casing in there. And then, just because I am such a fanatic about making sure these things don't come apart after I've done this stuff, I never snip it off until I can get in front and make a couple of wraps too to help lock it all down. I've had too many of these feathers when I go to make these wing casings come out after I do that. And I'm just going to come down in here with my scissors, a few quick snips and get that stuff cleaned out of there. Let's go in there with my little curved scissors and try to get it a little bit better. Give me a little bit better angle in there. Just try to snip that stuff out as much as I can. I'm going to get it perfect. It'll be hard to get it completely cleaned out, but it'll help a lot. Now, to finish this off, Down just a little bit more there. There we go. I want to get me a white duck feather out. Snip a little bit of it off. Everything stays married up good there. Come back across through here like so. One, two. Pull it to where I really want it to set at. More to hold it there. And then just grab me a similar size little piece out of there again. Go across the other way, making an X with the wings, basically, the feathers. Go down. Hold on just a second. One of my tails came in and got stuck. Get out of there. There we go. Glad I noticed that before I tied down. Down tight. Now, I'll just kind of reach in here, snip that off there. And just tie this down good and tight so everything's down. Go. Now, yep, that's two. I wonder how many more times I can knock this thing over tonight. Now we'll just put our whip finishes in first. Tug, hold it down. We'll do one more in there. 1, 2, 3. And a little tug down to help hold it in place. Come here and snip that out. And then once again, just going to go in there. Just put a little hard as nails right there in it. Let that dry up. And what you now have is a bead-headed French nymph, and the reason I did it this way is that tungsten bead's going to pull that head down. So it's going to keep that hook point up when you tie in because of that 60-degree angle. So you're going to be coming off that foam down to this. So you're going to be able to have basically a strike indicator with the foam bug, and you're going to have this nymph floating down there on the bottom, however deep you're needing to make it. So here in a minute, I'm going to get these things attached so you can see how I've got that. And then we're going, so then we're going to be able to cover both areas. It's going to be on top and on bottom. Especially this time of year, it's a good thing around where I'm at because fish are starting to move a little bit shallow. Water's getting warmer there. Sun's shining down on a little bit more. They're coming up. They're eating what's coming up on top. This is great all year long. You can change out that foam to different colors, make it look like a grasshopper. You can change out your nymph for different things. I just really like the way this Prince nymph looks this time of year. So I'm just going to let that finish drying up there, and we'll get all the rest of this put on there. We, of course, all the individual pictures of the fly. I'll get the recipe up for both of them in here, and hopefully soon, this quarantine's all over, I can get out and fish these things, and we can get that video up for you guys to see how that goes. So for right now, enjoy, and I'll see you guys later.